Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary for Wednesday, July the 25th. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram, and I'm a founding member of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. Speaking of the GLCPC, today's video is going to be a tribute to my co-founder of the GLCPC. That would be Brett Maroki on defense. This video, a tribute to him, because look, I'm recording from the inside of a college dorm room. And many of you follow Brett or watch his videos on YouTube know that he records the majority of his videos throughout the Canucks season from his college dorm room back east where he's studying. So Brett, this is for you. I hope I can do it justice. I'm in a college dorm room because I'm here at St. Joseph's College in Portland, Maine. I'm here to lead a week of training, a leadership training for Catholic young people. And I want to tell you about one of them in particular. This is my second year here, and last year they established that I was from Vancouver, so there are a lot of Boston Bruins, very close Bruins Canucks, chirping. And this year, a kid returned. His name's Theo, big kid, 6'4", 240 pounds. By the way, I beat him in basketball yesterday, which was quite amazing. No, actually, it's because my partner was really good. We played 2-on-2. But anyways, this Theo kid, it took him 5 minutes for him to start chirping me about the Canucks. And he said, "How did the Canucks do this season?" I know very well that he knew how the Canucks did. So I said, they didn't have a good year, but you watch, in 3 or 4 years, they'll be good. And he actually said to me, yeah, because they just drafted Quinn Hughes, they have Elias Pettersson, they have Brock Besser, they have Bo Horvat. So I was actually quite impressed that the Steele guy knew about the Canucks. And I said, who's your favorite team? And he says, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I said, why? And he goes, Steven Stamkos. And then now every meal he's lamenting to me how Stamkos and the Lightning got robbed by the Capitals, how they should be the Stanley Cup champions, how they would have been the Vegas Golden Knights, blah, 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 whatever, Theo. So it was kind of cool, though. It gives us another thing to talk about, another way that we connect. So we'll see how the Canucks do in a few years, and I got to remember to come back, not necessarily come back to Maine, but at least message Theo and say, look at us, we're in the playoffs, and we're a really good team now. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Part of that piece, part of that team 3 or 4 years from now may be this guy, Jake Virtanen. The Canucks signed him to a 2-year contract this morning for $2.5 million. So easy math, that's $1.25 million a year for each of the next 2 seasons. And by signing Jake Virtanen, that's the last RFA that the Canucks had, remaining outstanding after they signed Troy Stecher to his new contract just 5 days ago. Jake Virtanen was the 6th overall pick, first-round draft pick of the Vancouver Canucks in the year 2014. And it's ironic or coincidental or maybe appropriate that his fellow first-rounder of the Canucks from 2014, Jared McCann, who was picked 18 picks later at 24th overall, he just signed the same type of contract, 2 years, $2.5 million with the Florida Panthers earlier this month. So it's kind of fitting that they have the same contract. And with this contract, kind of just 5 days, like I said, after Troy Stecher's, I put a poll up on Twitter like I always do with any Canucks signing or any news. And I said, what do you think of this contract? 2 years, $2.5 million, $1.25 million a year. I had 4 choices: good term, good money; good term, bad money; bad term, good money; or bad term, bad money. 98% of the first votes in the first half an hour, I got over 100 votes. 98% said good term, good money. So overwhelming. People are happy with this contract. Only 2% said bad term, good money. So I don't know if they thought the contract was too long or too short, but at 2 years you can't really go wrong. And that's why this contract is so good. It's a typical show me contract. At the end of 2 years, the Canucks can decide if they're going to make Jake Virtanen another qualifying offer. This year they did, and Virtanen did not, file for arbitration. That tells me that him and his people were very confident they were going to work a new contract out, and so the Canucks will have that option 2 years from now. From Virtanen's standpoint, he has every chance to show that he can be relied on a regular player, top 6'4", top 9'4", whatever it may be. And even Jim Benning said so in the press release, saying that he's counting on Virtanen to become a regular contributor, a more consistent contributor to the team. I know I've always said that Virtanen could be in line for a big year, especially if he lines up on the second line. I always have him on one side, Pettersson in the middle, and Eriksson on the other side. So that would be Eriksson and Virtanen as the wingers on the second line, with Pettersson in the middle. And then of course you have Horvat with Berchi and Brock on the top line. Even if they don't put Pettersson in the middle and they put him on the side, on the wing, probably with Eriksson on the second line, Virtanen should get third line minutes, whoever that, whoever his line mates may be. With Jake Virtanen, I've always liked him. As anyone who follows me here on YouTube or on Twitter knows that behind Bo Horvat, he's my second favorite player on the team. I love his combination of what I say, the 4 S's. 3 of them I think he's got really good. He's got great speed, great acceleration, but great speed, especially for a guy his size. He's got good size, he's got good skill, And I think his hockey smarts is the fourth S that he's got to work on a little bit. I'm not saying he doesn't have a hockey IQ. Of course he's good. He's playing in the NHL. But I think he could certainly use his line mates more. He can certainly kind of read what the defense is doing more, and certainly make better plays in the offense aside from his quick shot, which he kind of misses the net a lot sometimes. And sometimes, he's kind of predictable in the way he goes wide. He's got great speed. He's hard to stop, but he's a little bit predictable when he's driving to the net. So like I said, I like Virtanen for those reasons. He's got good speed, he's got good size, he's got good skill, and with that, a great shot. And then I think he can still work on his hockey smarts. Let's talk about him a little bit. Like I said, drafted 6th overall in the year 2014. Then the next year he came up to the Canucks as a rookie with Jared McCann, his fellow draft mate, and he put up 13 points in 55 games. He went 7 goals, 6 assists in 55 games. Then the next season, he only played 10 games with the big club, notching just 1 assist, and he played 65 games in Utica, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points. So 19 points in 65 games, not lighting the world on fire in Utica, but I think he made a lot of adjustments and he learned what it meant to be a pro. And I know as much because many of you know this story. I've shared this on Twitter and YouTube. At an exhibition game last season, I went and bought this shirt, this Jake Virtanen t-shirt, and I came back to my seats and I was looking at it, and then a voice behind me said, "Oh, that's a nice shirt." And I turned around and it was my friend Samantha from church sitting with Jake Virtanen's parents. And it was Jake's dad who actually said that was a nice shirt. It was kind of funny. So I spent the rest of the game speaking to Virtanen's parents and telling them how much I liked him as a player, and they were thankful for the nice words, and they were telling me about his season in Utica. And I guess Samantha grew up with Jake. I guess that's the connection. So that's why Samantha was sitting there with Jake Virtanen's parents. Anyways, what they told me was that season in Utica, it was tough at the start for Jake because he obviously wanted to play with the big team. But he learned how to be a pro, he learned more discipline, and it was Darren Archibald who spent a lot of time with Jake, mentoring him both on and off the ice. And I don't think it's a surprise, not just for this reason only, to mentor Jake Virtanen, but Darren Archibald is still on the Canucks roster, and they signed him recently to another 1-year contract, I believe. So Archibald, whether he's on the Canucks or in Utica, at least he's still as part of the organization, which obviously is a good thing. There's nothing bad about that for Jake Virtanen. So I think Jake Virtanen, and then Jake Virtanen last year came up, he played in 75 games for the Canucks, 10 goals, 10 assists, so 20 points overall. So basically a point in just under every 4 games. Not the best numbers, but you look at his ice time and you look at who he's playing with and you kind of see why. He had a lot of 4th line minutes, especially at the start of the year. The first quarter of the season, his ice times read like 6, 8, 7, 9, 10 minutes, really anywhere from 6 to 10 or 11 minutes. And then in the last quarter of the season, as he gained Travis Green's trust, you saw his ice time go up. There were some games of 18 minutes, 17 minutes, 15 minutes, 16 minutes, whatever it may be. So where the first quarter of the season was 6 to 10 minutes, the last quarter of the season was anywhere between 12 and 18 minutes. And naturally, if he plays in the top 9, definitely in the top 6, you'll see those minutes go up to be the mid to high teens consistently. So I think if he plays with more skilled players, he'll obviously get better point totals, and he'll have higher ice time. And that's really what I hope and predict for Jake Virtanen. And that's why I'm excited. That's why I think it's a great signing. I think people on Twitter obviously agreed with me, 98%. You can't argue with that number. But Canucks fans, I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below. I'd love to read it, reply to it, react to it. Do you like the term? Do you like the money? Do you like the contract overall? What kind of role do you think Jake will have? Who do you think he should play with? And overall, do you think he fits into the Canucks' future plans, long-term plans, to be part of this organization going forward?